All right, I just arrived in Ho Chi Minh, aka Saigon, Vietnam. We're gonna walk around District 1, the main central part of Saigon. And I'm gonna jump in the deep end. They say that the most intimidating thing here is crossing the streets, so here we go. There are no pedestrian streetlights, even though there's a crosswalk. I don't even know how I'm gonna do this. All right, not too bad, not too bad. There are more mopeds here than in any city in the world. Okay, here we go, here we go. All right, made it across. Looking at the Saigon River. This river goes right through central Ho Chi Minh. So why does the city have two names? Throughout the 18 and 1900s, or much of the 1900s, it was named Saigon. Much of that time occupied by the French until the first Indochina War occurred. For 7 years, between 1946 and 1954, the French fought the Vietnamese, followed by, of course, the very infamous Vietnam War, of course not known as the Vietnam War here, but known as the Second Indochina War, which involved the United States. When that war was completed, with the victors being the communists from the north, the city was renamed in honor of Ho Chi Minh, the leader of the North Vietnamese upon unification. Ho Chi Minh was a hero because he liberated Vietnam from the Japanese following World War II, and was also instrumental in fighting both the French and the Americans during the two Indochina Wars, aka the Vietnam Wars. We're in District 1, which is the business district and basically the downtown, but you can see in the distance District 2, which is popular with expats and foreign residents. Many high-rise apartment complexes there on the other side of the river. There's about 12 numbered districts and a few others that are named, and we're gonna probably focus on District 1 in this walk and check out some of the other districts in some of our other walks. In front of us is the statue of Tran Hung Dao, military statesman that protected Vietnam and repelled two Mongol invasions in the 1200s. A great Vietnamese brave hero. But could he cross this road as a pedestrian? All right, let's see what the locals do. There are no lights here. Crosswalk, but no one really seems to stop for this, so let me just follow these guys. All right, some people will stop. anyone to guide or to use as a guinea pig in front of me, so I got to do it my own this time. Going across the other side of the square. Not too bad, getting the hang of it now. We actually got a pedestrian traffic light here. We're in the very central District 1, so it's basically the tourist or area where you're going to get a lot of the hotels, also business area, so very commercial. Lots of restaurants, lots of stores. Aside from crossing the street, it's very pedestrian friendly. And we'll cover a couple of the key touristic sites on this walk. Hey. Cigarettes?
Wait.
Cool. In front of us is the Ho Chi Minh or Saigon Opera House. This was constructed during the French colonial period in 1898. Seats 500 people. In addition to serving as a theater, it also served as the National Assembly and served other governmental purposes in the 50s and 60s.
亦都係第一日。
In front of us is the Saigon Central Post Office. Like a lot of the buildings in this part of central Ho Chi Minh, this was constructed during the French colonial period. This particular building was constructed in the 1860s. Appears to be open even though it's a Saturday, so let's check it out inside. And that painting on the wall is the man himself for whom this city is named, Ho Chi Minh. And indeed, in this half of it, it is acting as a post office. Now we're looking at Notre Dame Cathedral, modeled after the one in Paris, also built during the French colonial period. This particular cathedral was constructed between 1857 and 1863. Tried to get in on the back end of it where this construction is going on. I was advised it was closed, though she seemed to indicate She pointed me in the direction of the other side of the cathedral, so maybe I'll have better luck on that side. We'll check it out. No such luck. Went around the whole perimeter, and other than that one entrance where I was advised it was closed, there's no other way to get in, so on to the next stop. It's my first time here in Saigon, or Ho Chi Minh, and while the traffic is as crazy as they say, it feels a little more pleasant than I expected. It's not quite as crowded and congested. It's got, right here in the center of the city, you have green spaces like this, so it's actually quite enjoyable to walk around in District 1 at least. We're looking at Independence Palace. Very important building in the modern history of Vietnam, constructed in 1962 during the Vietnam War, and was the site of the fall of Saigon in 1975, when the communist forces took the city of Saigon and reunified the country as the Socialist Republic. Hello, xin chào.
Tròn thì nó ở đằng sau kia thôi, nhưng mà nó có việc đằng sau chơi chốc ra. Rồi từ trong đúng ở đấy đã. Cái nào gần đủ ra chụp xong nó ta đi. Ra ngoài kia thì cũng phải chờ đủ.
And it's from the top of this building where that very famous photo from 1975 with the helicopters helping the South Vietnamese, last remaining people here, escape as the Viet Cong and North Vietnamese overtook Saigon. This palace served as the seat of government in South Vietnam until after reunification, about a year later in 1976, when its functions were moved to Hanoi, the capital of the Unified Socialist Republic of Vietnam. And today serves mostly as a museum. There is a bust of the Vietnamese hero Ho Chi Minh, for whom the city is named. You'll see his portrait quite a bit throughout the city. Just coming in from the airport, I saw it just in regular neighborhoods, posted in many places. Photo of 1967 when Richard Nixon visited with the South Vietnamese general Gwyn Kai, Kai, I don't know, however you say it. We are on the second floor of the plaza looking out to the front, and just about 2 floors below the view that the people escaping Saigon in those helicopters had in 1975. So this was the office of the vice president of South Vietnam back in the 60s and early 70s, before there wasn't a South Vietnam. But basically, if you're interested in visiting the Independence Palace, it just shows you how government worked, what meeting rooms they had in a very important era in Vietnam's history. Well, we've just gone down to the basement. See the more interesting part, the bunker. If you got a civil war going on, you better keep your government officials safe. This is where they could go. So got some old school 1970s telephones. With some 1960s, 1970s technology. Their communication hub. Just one level down. We're in the basement, but not deep below the ground floor. Looks like a switchboard, radio receivers. Here they did some high frequency communications. Some more radio transmitters. These typewriters look old even by 1960s and 1970s standards. And yeah, I guess you gotta sleep somewhere. Lots of maps down here in the bunker. And this was the office of the president when he was in the bunker. All right, that was our visit to the Independence Palace. Could have stayed a little longer, but I got one more museum to go, and it's 4 p.m. and closes at 5, so on to the next stop. All right, now we are going to hear some cool stuff in the War Remnants Museum. So those were the tiger cages. Cruel punishments that the US and South Vietnamese conflicted on the Viet Cong patriots. There's a bit of propaganda here, but I'm not saying it's totally untrue. There's a 1959 meeting between Ho Chi Minh and Mao Zedong. So the room behind me has exhibits of many of the war crimes committed by the U.S. against the Vietnamese during the Second Indochina War, and it's quite chilling. And unfortunately, it's largely true. Many times, our soldiers were given orders to kill everyone in particular villages because some Viet Cong were there, and that often meant elderly families, innocent people that had nothing to do with the North Vietnamese military or the Viet Cong were slaughtered. So some very sad visuals inside that room. Here we have a room dedicated to Agent Orange, the toxic chemicals dropped by planes from the U.S. during the Vietnam War that caused birth defects and destroyed the health of so many people in Vietnam. But some chilling photos and information in that museum, all the sad stories of so many Vietnamese slaughtered, disfigured, victims of chemical warfare. But history, we have to learn from it. Anyway, on to the next and final stop of this tour through District 1. We're going to go to the Ben Thanh Market. Should be there in about a couple of minutes. Alright, we've arrived at the Ben Thanh Market. Let's check it out.
750.
Lấy cho 15.
This is also nice. This is nice.
Hello. All right, it's my first couple of hours here in Saigon, Vietnam. I think I'm gonna go walk back and buy some stuff, but I think that's the end of my video for today. So I'm gonna make probably 1 or 2 other videos while I'm here. For now, this is the Urban Walker signing off from Ho Chi Minh. See ya.